You are now live on Channel 8 and YouTube and are free to start.
I'll call this meeting to order at 6:33 p.m. Let's start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, and
with liberty and justice for all.
Excellent. That's always a little odd with the computer audio. Okay. So I don't have the agenda in front of me, so I may be going out of sequence, but I'm just going to start with the minutes. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes?
Yes.
Excellent. At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
Second.
Did I hear Dennis? Did you make the motion? And Bruce, you seconded it?
I did.
Perfect. Okay. Any discussion on the motion?
No.
Okay. Roll call. Dennis?
Yes.
Bruce?
Yes.
Frank?
Yes.
Do I have any of the board members, or that's it, correct? I don't want to miss anybody. And then I will vote yes, so minutes have been approved. Okay, moving on to the plans. Do we have a representative?
Hi, yes, for the Tesla project?
Yes, sorry.
Hi, yes, no worries. Yeah, Ed Noseworthy's here, design manager for Tesla, and we also have two more team members, Matt Tilden from our engineering group, Jody Allison, who's also with Tesla on our site acquisition team, and I believe we have Stephen from the Cumberland Farms store as well joining us in case we can help answer your questions. But yeah, whenever you're ready, I can share my screen and go over the project. Like a quick summary.
I'm going to interrupt for a quick second. I don't know if that's just on my end. Was everyone else getting feedback?
Yes.
As
well.
Yeah, he's chopping in and out pretty bad. Yes.
Okay.
Must be that Tesla technology.
It's a new laptop. I was afraid of this. Let me see if I can dial into my phone. If you would.
Actually, Ed, you're coming in fine now.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right. I'll just roll with it and let me know if I cut out again and I can try to dial in, I guess.
Sounds great.
Move a little closer here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to share my screen real quick. So yeah, just let me know if and when you can see it.
We can see it.
Okay, great. So yeah, again, my name is Ed Noseworthy. I'm the design manager for Tesla in the Northeast. So this is
Ed, you're cutting in and out again.
any better? Let me try to dial in. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Just when we were getting used to being back in the office together.
Okay, is that any better?
That sounds much better.
Okay, sorry about the delay there. My apologies.
No worries at all.
Okay, we'll try this again. So if you didn't hear my intro, I'm Ed Noseworthy, design manager with Tesla in the Northeast. And yeah, so Tesla's working with the property owner at the Cumberland Farms here, the location at 163 Patriots Road. And I just got an overhead Google Earth image pulled up here. So, basically we're looking to install 8 DC fast charge level 3 electric vehicle charging posts. And, it's a really great location that we're excited about right off of Route 2. Cumberland Farms gives us a really great amenity for our customers that, our dwell time is around 30 minutes and our customers can charge and run in, grab a coffee, grab a snack, use the bathroom. And it really makes for a great setup for our customers. So I pulled up sort of this overhead image just to show you that this red square here. Can you see my cursor as well?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. So yeah, this is our proposed area. So basically the sort of the nuts and bolts of our builds, what we're proposing is, and I'll flip over to our drawings now just so you can sort of see as I zoom in. So this is that same row of parking here. So our 8 charge posts that we're proposing get installed in these existing parking stalls. So essentially the charge posts themselves get installed right behind the curb line on the stripe, and that's so our customers can back in, and the charge port is sort of on the back driver's side of the car and able to charge easily. And then there's a few pieces of equipment that feed these charge posts. So we have a new electric utility service that'll be fed from an existing utility pole. It'll have a couple underground primary conduits that'll come feed our transformer in this area. Then we have a switchgear cabinet that is the same sort of panel board that you would see in your house. It handles all our branch circuit wiring, so you can turn off the cabinets and turn them back on. And then right behind our charge posts here is what we call our supercharger cabinets, and one of those cabinets feeds 4 posts. And the purpose for that cabinet is to handle all the AC to DC rectification, so that the car's battery can accept the voltage and the charge. So yeah, it's pretty basic, simplistic setup. It's the charge post and then a couple pieces of electrical equipment that'll feed it. This is nice because we have the existing parking stalls to work with. And I think the only sort of other thing that I want to touch on is something we've been working with Laurie on a bit is the snow storage plan. So right now, Cumberland Farms stores snow in this area, but they have agreed to, and they put a nice letter and overhead view of this together for us as well, which I'll toggle over to now. So essentially, they've proposed to move this snow storage area to the sort of the right-hand side of the property. You can see this red sort of cross-hatched areas here, where they'll be able to move the snow safely and effectively, pile it up along this perimeter side of the property, while also maintaining these drive aisles in the back of the store. I know that was a bit of a concern at first. So, they have agreed to do this for us. They put this official letter together for us, and we're hoping that'll be a good snow storage plan that will help accommodate the board as well. And yeah, so I think, like I said, our builds are relatively simple. We already have had a meeting with Templeton Municipal Light Service, who's provided the full utility design and are giving us our electric service. And yeah, that's really about it. And I think, happy to try to answer any questions you may have, but that's sort of the nuts and bolts of our proposal.
Going beyond the snow storage, which I'm sure we'll discuss, one question that I would have, Ed, is right there adjacent to where your service is going to be located. They do storage of portable propane tanks and stuff. It's located right there in that, if you were to,
Yeah, right here, right?
yeah, that's pretty close. I would have some, obviously some people that would be more knowledgeable as to what's actually involved in that. But I do know at that particular facility, they store a fair amount of propane tanks that would be right adjacent to where your service is coming up out of the ground, which is, so I don't know, I would have some questions about that. especially with the fact that, that's the exit from the parking lot, and with additional traffic with those cars using those charging areas, things maybe could get a little bit congested over there. So has there been any discussion with regard to that?
Yeah, I think it was raised at some point when we had some initial sort of correspondence during our due diligence with one of the planning board members, or maybe Laurie. But I think the good thing about those is, those two small containers that you're talking about they are portable. They're not like underground propane tanks. So I know we have a representative from Cumberland Farms on with us, and I think we'd be happy to sort of relocate those to a new place on site where it makes sense for customers to easily get them. If you're, worried about the proximity to maybe say this transformer, which we're probably maybe 20 feet away, and our closest post is maybe something like that, around 20 feet. So I think that's probably a request we could easily accommodate, and just help put everyone's mind at ease there.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I know that the issue of the snow storage was something that was brought up, but it seems like something that is pretty easily dealt with. I did drive through there today, and I'm not sure if anybody can answer the space behind the fence, and in the picture kind of on actually further like behind the store, not so much on the where it's marked off red. Do we know what that area is? On the other side?
We had originally, I believe, proposed to move the snow storage back there, but I think there were some concerns. So, we had, I guess, pivoted to this area, which I think the reasoning behind that is just this is a bit wider of a drive aisle, whereas it gets a bit more narrow back here. So, the snow storage could potentially creep back in and really narrow this drive aisle. So I think it was just sort of came to the conclusion that this might make a bit more sense just to keep everything wide open here.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think it's as long as it's maintained and open for safety vehicles and the such, I think that should be fine.
Yes, exactly.
I have a couple of questions on that. Excuse me. The snow storage area really almost abuts the property line and the fence that exists there now. Is there really going to be room to store snow in there?
Yeah, so there's actually quite a bit of room in between the property line and that existing fence line. So you can see sort of this bold dashed line here with the coordinates. That's the property line. And then the fence is way in here. So there's a bunch of space, behind that fence line for snow to go over, and still, yeah.
You're putting it over the fence then?
Yeah, up to the fence, over the fence, whatever the snow accumulation totals to, we have basically the flexibility in that right side of the property here to do so.
Because some of the tank trucks that go through there have to make a pretty wide turn around the back of the building there. The other thing is these parking spaces that you're talking about are kind of on a first come, first served basis on where you're putting in
The charging stations.
Your charging stations, where the parking spaces are.
Yeah, so we sort of get asked about that a lot as well. So, of course, our charge posts are here to let our customers know that charging is available. But at the end of the day, technically anyone could park here. We don't police our stalls or tow cars or anything. So the idea would be that, these stalls, because there's parking stalls right up against the store here, logically, hopefully someone would park there last. But if it gets full, it's a risk we're willing to take. But like I said, anyone could technically park in these stalls, even though our charging is there.
Yeah, a lot of the larger vehicles will park in there, trucks and so on.
Yep.
I have just a question of curiosity. These are Tesla charging stations are only for Tesla vehicles?
They're proprietary to Tesla right now, yes.
Okay. How long does it take to charge a vehicle like that?
Yeah, so our average dwell time is around 30 minutes, and that'll put a couple 100 miles worth of charge on your car.
Okay.
Anyone else from the board have any questions or comments? So my personal view, I don't see, this is any major change to the site, just, some equipment being installed. Obviously the snow situation, I think the owners of the property, for their own best interest, are going to make sure everything's taken care of and cleaned up and just for their own business purposes. So I don't see any major red flags or issues with the project.
Well, I think it is a coming thing, so I think we have to expect it.
Exactly. I mean, I don't see it as, obviously, I'm sure all safety protocols are going to be followed and such. So I don't know if anybody wants to make sure that we put any, as far as I'm concerned, I look to approve the plans as submitted. Does anybody have anything that they want to add to?
No, I think the only open question that I would have is what, if any, maybe discussions and accommodation with regard to the propane. That's just kind of something that's sticking with me due to the close proximity. If it was further away, I wouldn't be looking at it so much, but that's kind of close. So
I got an issue with what he's just talking about, the propane. Did anybody check with the gas inspector or the fire chief about the question he's asking about the propane and electricity?
Yeah, so I think we're just going to move. It's a portable propane container where people come and do their swaps. So we're just going to move the container and avoid it altogether. So I'll follow up after the call and just make sure we have a location further away from our proposed service equipment that Cumberland Farms is okay with and their customers can still get to. And we'll avoid it altogether.
okay.
The next question is, that fence, as you're looking at it from the road, that fence on the right, how much space do you have from that fence to the property line?
Yeah, so it widens out as you get further back. It looks like we probably have, you can see for reference, the 15-foot setback from the property line. So in this area, we have probably maybe 40 feet from the fence to the property line, and then it starts to sort of taper in a bit. But the areas we're looking at, you can see the fence line to the property. So somewhere in between maybe 40 feet and 20 feet for the whole length of that fence and property line, if you will.
And why not move the fence to the property line?
I don't think,
It'll give you a lot of room
that
for the
fence,
snow.
yeah, I mean, that fence was there, before we even thought about this project. And I think it's easy for them to sort of pick up the snow and put it over it if they have to.
Well, I wouldn't do that. Before
if
you
they
know the fence
Yeah,
will
if they
fall more.
Yeah, if they determine they want to move the fence back to make it easier, they can certainly do that as well. But, we have that whole space to play with for the snow storage.
I think you're trying to squeeze too much on a small stamp by having it. You're throwing away 40 feet. The length of the property, that's a lot of area with that fence there.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, the fence was there before we even thought about this
Yeah.
project, so I guess
Yeah.
we can discuss it.
But we're trying to make a better situation now. We can't go backwards what happened 10 years ago.
Okay, are you saying I don't think we would prefer to move it, but if you're saying it's a requirement of approval to move the fence, it's something we can consider. Is it a necessity or?
Well, you're looking for room.
Ed, the fence, this is Lori, I'm sorry. I'm over Frank's shoulder here.
That's quite all right.
It's more of a guardrail than it is a fence on the right-hand side. Is that correct? It goes all the way around the back?
Right.
No,
See
I
it
think
right
there's-
here.
I think there's two different fences because I believe there's a privacy fence and then there's
Okay,
also
I
the
see now.
guardrail fence.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
so
just
I
wanted to
think
clarify.
Correct. Yeah, but
Yeah, so they would have to grab some pretty good sized front end loaders and actually lift that snow over the
yeah,
fence. So maybe they can consider that, because looking at it the way that we were just looking at it, setback off the fence looks like, you know, some mulched areas and that type of a thing. So now a reach for a front end loader might be challenged getting that stuff over the fence. So it certainly is a good question to ask. Moving toward the back of the property, if that's not the case, because it looks like with your map, the vegetation ends and they can just dump it right over the fence there where it's the widest. Maybe if that's what they're going to focus on doing is putting most of the snow back there, it might not be too bad. Has anybody actually taken a look at, you know, when they do that parking lot, how much snow actually does accumulate? We didn't have a whole lot of snow this year. I guess my only thought would be, it looks like a lot of area now, but once you start piling the snow up, how quick is it going to fill in that area? Has anybody looked at that?
Well,
Yeah, so we,
oh, sorry. I was going to interject for one quick second. Obviously I know that we, look at snow storage and that's a major thing that we do, but I think at some point too, it's too easy for us to become the snow police. And I mean, obviously, it's a business. They need parking spaces. They need, trucks to go around. I'm sure that they're going to make sure that if the snow gets, piled too high, they're going to have it trucked out and removed. So I think sometimes we might get a little too far down the rabbit hole of, where the snow is going, my personal opinion.
The fence itself isn't really in that great a condition. It may need to be replaced anyway, so.
The first
yeah,
is-
like you alluded to too, I think, we have a good area to put the snow, which is great. If the first snowstorm comes and we realize the fence, it's more efficient to push it back. It's a quick fix, and that's something we can certainly look into. But we have a couple long sections on that perimeter where we can sort of spread it out and feel good about it. But happy to if we get the first snowstorm after our site is built, which this realistically probably won't be built until the spring or summer when we no longer have snow. But I could take some photos, send it back to you all. Sort of regroup on it and see if you're still comfortable with it. And, like you alluded to, obviously Cumberland Farms is going to want to keep that whole area open for their normal day-to-day business as well. So we'll make sure that we have a fully functioning plan that's working for all parties either way.
So any other questions, comments from the board?
The only concern I have.
What's that, Dennis? I'm sorry. I didn't hear what you said, Dennis. I'm sorry.
No, so the only concern I had was the
Okay.
the use of the spaces, that's all.
Okay.
So I'm okay with it. Is it possible that a transformer can be moved to the other end of those parking spaces, which would put it a more greater distance from the propane station?
Yeah, we had asked that originally. Would have sort of made more sense for us too, just to keep that primary run a bit shorter. But when we met Templeton Municipal out there, that was the area that they wanted it. It's a bit like flatter there, and they have a better clearance around the transformer, and it's their job to maintain it. So they asked that we install it there, which is why we show it in that location.
Okay.
So I guess at this time I would entertain a motion to approve the plans as submitted with some language in regards to the propane situation being addressed, as well as long-term snow storage being taken care of. I'm sure that can all get cleaned up a little bit in the verbiage, but
Did you say that the fire chief has already been consulted on this?
So we had sent over our plans a while back. I don't know if those got circulated to like every department. I haven't spoken to them personally. If you have that contact, I'm happy to send this over, but I haven't spoken to them directly, I guess.
Well, okay, then I make a motion that we approve this pending the consultation with the fire chief concerning the location of the transformer and the propane station.
Well, just to reiterate too, we are going to move the propane tanks. They're just portable. We can move them. So they'll no longer be in close proximity to the transformer.
Okay. So
I have a
my-
motion, I have a motion on the table. Do I have a second?
Second,
Any discussion on the motion? So go down, Dennis,
yes,
Bruce,
yes.
Frank,
Yes,
and I also vote yes. So the plans are approved as submitted with the condition just to, that the propane tanks will be moved and the snow will be taken care of.
Okay, fantastic. And thank you for the time. We really appreciate it. Looking forward to this project. If I could just ask one quick question
Sure.
before we go. So what would the next steps be in terms of, is there a building permit that gets issued, or is there someone I should reach out to get this written up sort of decision, or just curious how I should proceed after this?
So that's definitely the Lori.
So what we can do is, it would be a building permit. Tomorrow I can have Rhonda Parento, who works for the building commissioner, send you what you need, and we'll go from there.
Okay, great. I will reach out to you tomorrow. And thanks again so much for the time. We really appreciate it.
Sounds great. Thank you very much.
All right, have a great night.
Thank you.
Any new business from the board? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Excellent. Let's adjourn then. Everyone, have a great night. Thank you very much.
Take
Okay.
care, everyone.